All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Freedom and Wealth Seeker podcast. This is episode number 32. Feeling even more excited each and every week as we all come together for another info packed episode. I just want to let you all know that as the summer winds down, as the summer winds down, we have more and more in store for you. If you have been active on the text, and again, folks, I want you to understand right now where we're at as a community. This is a small knit community that I started putting together in 2020. And when I say small, existing one-on-one students, I have about 12 existing one-on-one students that I've worked with. I have about 22 academy members. And then from there, it's about 200 and no, it's about 310, 310 subscribers. That's it. Like if you're getting a text from me, you're one out of about 370 people. That's it. We're keeping it tight. We're keeping the circle tight as of right now. As as things start to unroll, our community will grow. Let me let these six people in. Like I want you all to know, like you are the first. You're the first members. You're the honorary uh, inaugural members of the Freedom and Wealth Seekers community. I want to thank all of our new Freedom and Wealth Seekers. We've been getting shared on social media. Shout out to Wall Street Trapper. I made a comment, actually shared a testimonial on his YouTube channel, and he screenshotted it and posted it. And our following has increased just from that post. Um, and that's a blessing in itself. On top of the information that he shares in regards to the stock market. And if you haven't tapped in the Wall Street Trapper yet, tap in. Lately, he has been talking a lot about the recession that we're currently in. The numbers have come back. I mentioned those numbers last week, and statistically, it shows the last, I think, 7 or 10 recessions. If we were, if these numbers came back for a second quarter, we're in a recession, right? And I'm not an economist. I'm not going to go into it. I'm a real estate investor. That's what I know, right? I'm not a stock expert, so I'm not going to break it all down. I leave that to the experts like Wall Street Trapper, like Ian Dunlap, right? When it comes to breaking down a deal, that's my cup of tea. That's my cup of tea. When it comes to putting a wholesale deal together, a tax lien deal together, a rehab, that's my expertise. So I stay in my lane, right? But I like sharing resources. And one thing that Trapper did touch on, he touched on, you know, the mortgages, and what happened in 2008, before the housing crash. Now, right now, there's no signs that there's going to be a housing crash. Um, I'm not speculating that it will be. I'm not saying that it won't be. But what I do know, and what time has shown me over the years, is that when you buy right, you pretty much are recession proof. When you buy right. And when I say buy right, I'm also talking about having a plan for the properties that you will be purchasing. Oh, you may have plan A. You also got to have a plan B. You may have to have a plan C. But when you buy right, you have less to worry about, along with some other factors that we've talked about on previous episodes. So we have 5 things we're gonna go through. I kind of already shouted out, folks. Shout out to all of the REI Inner Circle 101 members. Special shout out to Jennifer Jordan. I met last week at the office in Baltimore. And also I'm meeting with Pamela Jackson. Pamela Jackson, shout out to you as well, one of our titanium members. Shout out to you. I'm meeting with you this week as well. We had some great, uh, we have something in store for you, Pamela. But we had a great one-on-one session with Jennifer Jordan last week. So, quick disclaimer before we jump into the content. I'm going to be breaking down deals tonight, so I'm excited about that. Not really breaking deals down. We'll see how far I take it. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, understand that my content is intended and must be used for informational and sometimes entertainment purposes only. It is very important that you do your own due diligence before implementing any of the methods mentioned and using any of the tools that we share, right? Sometimes my guests may share a tool, a resource, a strategy. Understand that this is informational purposes only. Any results shared on my platforms are not typical. Any investments that you make are based on your own personal financial circumstances, and I recommend that you consult with a licensed professional and verify anything that I say before you move forward. Okay, so you know what today is, folks? Direct Mail Wednesday. This is a mail piece that I received. Want everybody get a shot at that, right? Whoop, whoop, there it is. I mean, y'all remember that, right? Young folks on this podcast watching this, you probably don't remember. Whoop, there it is, right? So look, this is a postcard, stands out. I love it. I love the color yellow. Boom, right? Reminds me of a bandit sign. Okay. It also has red font, handwritten red font. It looks like somebody actually wrote this messaging on this postcard. And there is a picture of one of my properties on this postcard, right? Okay. So the front of the postcard reads, "Hey there, I'm Brendan." I love that. Okay. It's a name I can pronounce. It's personable. They start off with an introduction. "Hey, I'm Brendan. We're looking for a house to buy in your area. I noticed your house and it looks like a good fit. Can you call me?" I love that. I love the question is not like a direct call to action. It's a permission-based question. Okay, write that down, folks. You all want to ask for permission during a sales interaction. Is it okay if I share this opportunity with you? Is it okay? Okay. Can you? Okay. Can you call me? It's a disarming question. Can you call me? It's not call me right now. People like to be asked, not it's human nature. People like to be asked and not told. Okay. That's just human nature. Now, not saying telling someone to call you doesn't work, because that does too, but I'm just going off of my lens right now and what I like about this messaging. Okay, can you call me? I like it. It's the first question in this mail piece. All right. Then it goes through benefits. Get cash for your property. They have bullet points. Stay free for 30 days. Get cash for your property. Stay free for 30 days. No more repairs, no showings, no realtor fees, 100% guaranteed closing. All right. I'm a little lost unless I'm not comprehending this right. It says stay free for 30 days. I have no idea what they're talking about. What are they talking about? Stay free for 30 days. All right. Close in 30 days, maybe. So maybe that's a typo. All right. So that's one thumbs down for Brendan. Sent me this this postcard. I want to break down the front of this postcard. They sent me a postcard to my business. All right. In one of my LLCs, to one of my LLCs. Couple of things I could say. I'll touch on that, Tracy. Couple of things I want to say about that. Growing up, like my subconscious mind as a 41-year-old man is that when I get a postcard, it's usually from somebody that I know on vacation. It's personalized. I mean, if you're going to take the time to handwrite a postcard or use personal red font, you should personalize the messaging as much as possible. So it doesn't take much to find out who the owner of an LLC is. It just takes some research. That's it. And if you're using a virtual assistant team, if you have interns or assistants, I would add that step in because that really would make up for this stay free for 30 days. Like I'm totally lost there. Like you lost me in that message. Stay in a home rent free for 30 days? Nah, you can't do that. I would not recommend anybody buy a house and tell the people that live there that they can stay there for 30 days free. Like I'm not a lawyer, but I've heard horror stories in regards to that. So I would stay away from renting properties back to homeowners. All right. 100% guaranteed closing. That's a hard promise. That is a very hard promise. When you put yourself out on the plank like that and you say 100% guaranteed closing, you got to close. Like you got to close if you find a bad title. You got to close if your contractor gives you a high price on the repairs. You got to close. I do not recommend putting down 100% guaranteed closing. All right. Let's read the back of this. I saw this on Google. Would you be interested? Again, they addressed one of my LLCs. Hi, X1Z LLC. I saw this on Google. Would you be interested in selling this one or others you may own? Okay. And then they have a picture of the house and the address. Okay, I like that. That's great. They have an arrow pointing to the address, so I know which property that they're talking about. Sometimes I get properties and they don't even tell me the address of the sometimes I get postcards and they don't even tell me the address in the postcard or the letter that they're reaching out about. Okay. P.S. Just so you know, I'm not a realtor. I want to buy your house as is for cash. You don't have to fix anything. We have lots of options and we can close in days. We can close in days. I'm really confused. Stay free for 30 days. 100% guaranteed closing. And we can close in days. So what's days? 3 days? 10 days? 30 days? 150 days? I don't know. Call me at, and then they have their phone number, right? So I gotta say, this is the only postcard I got from this company. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I may have only got this postcard from them because this is probably the only campaign they ran because it's kind of confusing. Unless I'm really motivated to sell, I'm not gonna call this person back. Just can't do it. Too many mistakes. And I'm a marketer, so there's too many mistakes in the messaging. So I know it's that probably speaks to what I could potentially experience if I went into contract with these folks. I probably won't close. Just and that's just from my lens, folks. Not saying that Brendan isn't closing a ton of deals, but just from my 20 years of experience, when someone it's just like going to a restaurant. Going to a restaurant and they said the wait was 20 minutes. And then you look up and you've been waiting an hour and 20 minutes. And then you get to the table and your silverware is dirty. Your dining experience is probably not going to go the best. It's not going to be the best. That's just how that's you all know what I'm talking about. So presentation is everything. It was a pretty card. I mean, it grabbed my attention, handwritten red, but the messaging was off. The messaging was off. And maybe it wasn't Brendan that wrote this. Maybe he hired a company that sent out this postcard. So I'm not putting this on Brendan. And I'm gonna tell you, this postcard came from Cumberland, Maryland. There's another thing I gotta point out. It's a PO box. Mm-mm-mm. PO box. There is no there is no actual address. There's no physical address. What do most consumers relate PO boxes to? Scams. Scams. There's no physical address. Okay. Not saying that that company is a scam, but most prospects, especially when it comes to real estate, they want to know that you have a real office or you have a real mailing address. So my recommendation is for this postcard is to fix the copy on the postcard, get a physical address, and send out more postcards because that's the only one I received in reference to that property. All right. So that's Direct Mail Wednesday, folks. Freedom and Wealth lesson. Oh, yeah. Number 7. Freedom and Wealth lesson number 7. That's a good number. That is a great number. One of my favorite football players, Michael Vick, wore the jersey number 7. All right. One of my former high school teammates, now future NBA Hall of Famer, Carmelo Anthony, wears the number 7. It's a lot of power in that number. Let's go into the lesson. So the lesson is hands-on today. You all sent me, I sent out some action steps, right? The 370 people. Let me tell you what happened. I sent out some action steps, right? Some people like taking action and some people don't. And somebody unsubscribed from the VIP text list. They did our community a favor. They're not action takers. And that's something, folks, I have to bring up. The Freedom and Wealth Seekers community is all about action takers. Okay, we don't want you a part of this community if you're not going to take action with the information and the resources that we share. All right. It's just not, we don't want you a part of the community. You're weighing us down. Once you think of Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, the original, the creators of the Freedom and Wealth Seekers, of the Freedom Seekers, Harriet Tubman didn't want you on her, in her clique, if you weren't about that action. If you weren't about getting up 2 in the morning to run for freedom, she didn't want no parts of you. If you were thinking about it and kept changing your mind, or if you thought about changing your mind on the way to freedom, You was going to get an early ticket to the upper room messing with Harriet. Like, she didn't play. If y'all know the real history, right? They didn't put that in that movie, right? So we're not gonna run the same way, right? I mean, I'm not gonna do y'all like Harriet did a lot. Testing 1 2. Hold on. Look, I don't know what happened, but your speaker is not working properly. Your voice can still be recorded, but your voice. Okay, okay. Can y'all hear me? Put a yes in the chat. All right, perfect. Look, I got to talking about her. Somebody didn't want me talking. Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. I'm gonna try this one more time with these headphones. Testing, testing. All right, we're back. We're back. So, folks, where was I? Right, we only want action takers. So I appreciate all of you that took action, and I'm gonna try to get through all of your texts live on this podcast because I want to take you to the next step. And that's the first step to realizing, your goals and your dreams in this business. The first step, you have to take the first step. So I sent out a tip. I said an action tip. I said I want you to go out in your area and I want you to take a picture of a vacant house. That's it. That's step one. Go out in your area and take a picture of a vacant house. I did get some excuses, right? And you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. The decision is either you're going to make excuses or you're going to make money. Like, you have to ask yourself that question. And you got to make the decision. Are you going to make excuses or you're going to make money? And the only way you make money is if you take action in this business. I don't care where you're at in life, financially. Okay, I don't care where you're at. You could have $1 million in the bank and not do any real estate deals. You could have $0 in the bank and not do any real estate deals unless you take the proper steps. So I'm giving you these universal steps that work time after time after time again. And these steps, folks, a lot of you, hopefully everybody here, if you've been with this community for a long time, you know about the film The Banker, where the gentleman, this is in the 1940s, 1950s, he was buying property in white neighborhoods using the same steps that I teach my students in 2022, that I've been teaching my student partners since 2007. All right. And that I'm sharing with you. So that first step was take a picture of a vacant house. Okay. So I'm going to just call you out, folks. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm not going to share any addresses. But the first gentleman that sent me a picture was Tony Steiner, Freedom and Wealth Seeker. Thank you, Tony, for taking action. And first you sent me a description of the property. And then you also, first you sent me an address. Then you sent me a Google Maps picture, it looks like. From there, you sent me the state website information. And then I think you went out and took a picture of the property because you sent me the current status of how it looks. It looks totally different than the Google Maps picture, the Google Street View. All right. I said the next step was to go on the uspropertysearch.com. Tony, if you're here, if you're on the chat, can you just put a hello in the chat or yes so I can see you? Hopefully you're online with us. Now, the reason why I wanted you to go to US Property Search was to see if there was a mortgage on the property. Okay. To see if it was a mortgage on the property and to also see if there was a recent transaction on the property. Okay. For the person that just made a comment, I am going to respond to that. All right. Now the next step, and folks, y'all should be taking notes here. So I had Tony send me a vacant property. He sent me the address. I didn't even want y'all to send me the address. Some of y'all that sent me the address went over and above what I asked. I just wanted y'all to take a picture of a vacant house. But the ones that sent out the address, that tells me you're doing the work. So the next thing, Tony, I asked Tony to do was go to uspropertysearch.com. And he had trouble finding the site, but I believe he found the site. And I wanted him to go to that site to look up some more in-depth information on that property. Who the owners were, okay. When's the last time the property sold? And more importantly, if there's a mortgage. And the reason why, you will come across vacant houses, ladies and gentlemen, that have big mortgages, big balances on the properties. And the property owners have abandoned the property because they might be in foreclosure or they may have passed away recently. There's all types of things that could have taken place. We just got through a pandemic. A lot of people passed away. Okay. So once you figure that out, and the reason why I want you to know if there's any mortgage information, and I don't know Tony from a can of paint, other than he's a freedom and wealth seeker. He's on this text message group. I don't know his financial situation. I don't know if he can purchase the property cash. I just don't know because he's not one of my clients. But what I would suggest is most people that have never done a deal, they don't have the capital or the resources to fix properties up and resell them, is to wholesale these properties out. So using a site like uspropertysearch.com is going to give you the data you need to execute successful wholesale transactions. A lot of you saw Jennifer Jordan's picture. I didn't release the video yet. The videos is a series of 2 of Jennifer explaining how she closed her last deal. Okay. A lot of you are going to be starting out as real estate wholesalers. Less risk involved, no capital needed, if not any, if not a little bit, really needed depending on what market you're in, if you're going to run marketing campaigns, things of that nature. All I'm asking y'all to do is get out there, take a picture of a vacant house and send it to me. Those are 2 steps. Get out there, take a picture of a vacant house, send it to me. When you send it to me, I'm going to text you next steps, or you're going to get the next steps here on the podcast. So the folks that I did not respond to yet, because I got an onslaught over the last 2 days of pictures, and I wasn't able to get back to you all because I was out looking at properties today too, and I'll talk about that in a second. So the next step, once you go to uspropertysearch.com, you're going to have to, and by the way, you're going to have to subscribe to a free trial. It's like a 7-day free trial. And then after that, it's $97 a month. All right. Really, really affordable. And this is a tool that makes it a lot easier for you to operate operate a sustainable wholesaling business because you have all the data you need right in front of you, right at your fingertips. Okay. Once we figure out how much equity is in the property, now we can determine if we need to spend any more time on that particular deal. Okay. Once we determine if there's any equity in the property, and US Property Search will tell you the percentage of how much equity is in the property based on the comparable sales and values in that neighborhood. All right. In that particular neighborhood. The next step, Tony, you're using fastpeoplesearch.com. That tells me Tony's been around for a while. I think he was on our night out calls, and I shared that site a while ago. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a free resource. Fastpeoplesearch.com. I've been using that site for about 10 years now. Fastpeoplesearch.com. The reason why I like using that site is because when you type somebody's name in, especially if it's not a common last name, it will let you know if that person is deceased or not. Okay. It will let you know that. So if, Tony, if you're watching this, hopefully you're on here or you're watching a replay, that's the next step. I want to know if the owner is still with us or the owners are still with us after you find out if there is any equity in the property. I'm going to try to pull up Tony's text here. So those are the steps, still the same thing. Okay. Somebody said I have an address but not a picture. David, so the next thing you have to do is get a picture of the property. Okay. Appreciate you all. I'm still going through these texts. Let's see what they're. If you sent me a text with a picture and you're on here live with me right now, just let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat so I can talk directly to you. Corinne, I love a virtual address. Absolutely. Virtual addresses are good. Give me some time, folks. I got a lot of text here. All right. It looks like Tracy Little sent pictures. Tracy, I did get something from you. It's not, the images are taking some time to load up, but I do see an address. The images aren't loading. The next steps for you, the same thing. Looking up who the owner is, using US Property Search, looking at if there's any mortgage on the property, because a lot of these properties, folks, that you will come across out and about, a lot of these properties are going to be owned free and clear. A lot of these properties are going to be owned free and clear. Somebody says I have a bunch of REO houses. If I'm interested, I'm not interested in REOs unless I'm dealing directly with the asset manager. So whoever sent that to me, Chris, if you're dealing directly with the asset manager, I'd be interested. But I'm not interested in any REOs that are just out there on the market. Okay, Sharita sent a property address. and says a house that has high grass and county notices on the door. Couldn't stop to get a picture. We'll try. It doesn't have to be a. It could be a Google Street View pic, Sharita. But this is good. You gave me great detail, and Sharita, you know the next steps. Go to US Property Search, type the address in, see the situation of the property. Is there a mortgage? And folks, when I look at the property details on USPropertySearch.com, I'm looking at if there is a mortgage, when was the mortgage recorded? Okay. I'm looking at sometimes it's more than one mortgage. I'm looking at the transfer history, and I'm looking at all the names on the title. Okay. My initial due diligence. The next thing is I'm taking those names and I'm running them through fastpeoplesearch.com. The other thing that you are going to come across are LLCs, trusts. That's a whole nother level of research. So I'm going to give you all a site for the LLCs that I use. It's called opencorporates.com. Opencorporates.com, where you literally can type in any business around the country and you can look up when the property was registered. I'm sorry, when the company was registered in that state. And you can also see the resident agent's name, mailing address. In most cases, in regards to residential real estate, you will find that the resident agent is the actual owner of the property. Most people don't practice autonomy 100% through. Okay. So people are still reachable, folks. I want to talk about this. How does the process work? Because I definitely don't have any money anywhere. So a lot of people send me messages throughout the year like this. And I always ask the question. I say, like, when you get a text like this, you're texting me, right? So if you're texting me from a cell phone, that means you do have money somewhere because you're paying a bill. Now, I don't know what your plan is, but sacrifices have to be made if you want to make a change financially. Like this business, I hate to say it, 2022, you have to have some type of capital to start, like to compete, because we're in a data-driven world now, and all the data is available online. Now, if you can make something happen in 7 days, excellent. But the chances of somebody making something happen in 7 days that have no background in this business is going to be really, really hard. Okay. So I just put a post up on social media. I want y'all to really think about this, right? I call Sprint, okay, to pay a cell phone bill, right? Had to pay a cell phone bill. And the customer care person was like, Mr. Humphrey, so happy to speak with you. It looks like you've been a member since the year 2000. And I'm like, 22 years, right? And I'm pretty sure I've been a member with Sprint, now T-Mobile, longer than the person that answered the phone for me, longer than they've been on this earth. So I recall, you know, my bill was a little over $200 because I use like a lot of memory and I use the internet a lot. And they say you have unlimited service, but then if you don't read the fine print, my bill's always around $200. Anyway, I started to think when I was 20, how much my bill was. My bill was always over $100, roughly around 150, because I used to have like the internet device that they came out with. I used to always go over my minutes in the early days, so I always overpaid, but I always paid my cell phone bill, right? If you're one of my students from 2007 and you're a freedom and wealth seeker, my number's been the same. My number's been the same since the year 2000. Since I got out of high school, folks, I've had the same cell phone number. But this is the kicker. I've given Sprint $40,000 to $50,000. I don't know the exact number, but it's somewhere between 40, 50,000 for the last 22 years. They've been getting that much money. They got that much money from me. And I don't own any share of Sprint or T-Mobile. I don't own any part of that company, which is silly of me. But I have to reprogram myself. Okay. And that's what a lot of us have to do to get more. Like, you all say you want to own rental properties, you want to wholesale, you want to flip properties, but where are you making a sacrifice? Because US property search is $97 a month. If I really want this, and I'm saying I don't have any money, but my bill for my cell phone is $100 to $200, that's my money to start my real estate business. And then I'll go get a pay-as-you-go phone, right? So we have to really think about certain things. And how many people say, so I use my cell phone to make money, but that's not everybody. Everybody doesn't run a business from their cell phone. So again, I'm only speaking from my lens, and I'm responding to that person that sent me that text. But understand, you're not alone. I get a lot of those texts throughout the year. I've been getting them since 2007. And I've been getting texts for, look, I had Sprint T-Mobile since the year 2000. So I've been getting texts. So let's see here. Anybody else? Yeah, somebody asked for the links to the website. So yeah, let me put those in. uspropertysearch.com. If you just copy and paste that link, it should take you right to the home page. I'm gonna put another link in the chat as well. Hope everybody got that. Oh, that went to Tracy. I'm sorry. I'm gonna send that link out to everybody. Oh. And fast people search. Okay, that link is sent as well. So folks, I think y'all got it. Like, the next steps for the folks that did send me pictures, the next step is to start researching the property. Okay, finding out if there's a mortgage. I don't care if it's a mortgage or not. I'm just taking you through these steps. I want you to go through these steps. After that, I want you to look up the owner's information in Fast People Search. At Fast People Search, you're going to find out if they're still alive or they're deceased. It'll say deceased. Okay, and the year that they passed away. More importantly, it's going to have phone numbers. I want you to take those phone numbers. And I want you to take, what I mean by take them, take note of them. Whether you put them in the spreadsheet for this particular property or you write them down, I want you to take them down. Okay. And then once you do that, I want you to text me next step. And then we're going to have a dialogue. And I'm still going to be, the rest of this week, I'm actually about to go on vacation. I'm going to be looking through these texts and giving you all direction while on vacation. That's how dedicated I am to this community. I want to see each and every one of you win. So that's lesson 7. Take massive action with these small steps. And some of you did that, and you're already seeing results. You sent me pictures of vacant properties in your area. Okay. I'm going to make a statement. It's a bold statement, but it's a statement from experience. I made most of my money in real estate during the Great Recession between the years 2008 and 2012. Not saying we're headed to a housing crash, but again, during the recession. And if you recall the last recession, I always say history always repeats itself. Our president, Barack Obama, right around the Great Recession, announced that we got him. You know who he got, right? We got Osama bin Laden. Remember that? Fast forward, midst of another recession, President Biden comes out and says, we got him. Osama's right-hand man. Signs, folks. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that's a sign that if I'm a politician, if I'm trying to run again, I don't want to be known as the president that was in office during a recession. I want to be known as the president that got the bad guy. All right? Is that ringing a bell, folks? Some of y'all been here longer than me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So take advantage now. Like, we didn't know then. We didn't know in 2008 we should have been doubling down, tripling down, but we know now. And when I say what we should have been doing, educating ourselves more, taking action with the information. Because look at all the wealth that was created since 2008 to now. Look at all the wealth. 14 years later, 15 years later. What's the next 15 years going to look like from this year? For you. Like, really ask yourselves that. Look, I've been talking about, I know I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think I know a thing or two about this real estate business. I'm going to share an article with you all that I found today. Look at this. 12 best cities to weather a housing market downturn when a recession strikes. I wanted to jump into this, but I'm not going to jump into the article. I just want to show y'all something. They're talking about the pandemic, hotspots. I recommend you all read this article. I am going to put it in the chat. But I've been talking about a city in the United States that I want to invest in. I've mentioned Chicago. Oh, they have a huge inventory of vacant properties. They have a huge inventory of back tax properties. Just look at the numbers here. Price growth in 2021, year over year, 11.7%. Average home loan to value ratio, 86%. The percent of homes flipped in 2021, 1.8%. Then they're in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. 3.4% of homes were flipped. Okay. Year over year, price growth is 13.5%. Rochester, New York, price growth 12.6%. The percent of homes flipped 2%. So if I'm remember, folks, we look at these articles not just to inform us, but to know what's going on. It informs us where the opportunities are. So as a real estate wholesaler, I know up in Rochester, New York, there's some investors flipping houses. I need to run some campaigns there. Or I need to joint venture with some of the wholesalers there that don't have buyers, and I need to go find the buyers and build relationships with them and the title companies. I'm throwing nuggets out there. I hope y'all are catching them. I hope y'all are catching them. I don't know if this is a typo or what. Kansas City, Missouri, 10% year over year. Homes flipped there are currently 51. Maybe that's 5.1%. Maybe that's a typo. Buffalo, New York. 2.6% of the homes flipped. The homes that sold were flipped. Boston, Massachusetts. That's always been a strong market. Cincinnati, Ohio. I like the sounds of Cincinnati. Homes flipped in 2021, 3.9%. That's roughly 4% of all homes that sold in Cincinnati. Were flipped by real estate investors or homeowners. They were flipped. Someone sold and made a profit. Okay. Look at Cleveland. I just talked about Cleveland. El Paso, Texas. Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Philly, been a strong market. The number one market, drum roll please, Akron, Ohio. Price growth in 2021 was 7.9%. Average home to loan value ratio 87%. The percent of homes flipped in 2021 is 2.7. This is my first time seeing this article. If you've been on the Freedom and Wealth Seekers podcast, you know how much I've been talking about Akron. 12 hours ago, this article was published. Literally right before, I was like, I wasn't going to share like the Wall Street Journal or my local newspaper. I was going to find something fresh. And this popped right up in my search. And the number one city out of the 12 best cities to weather a housing market downturn in a recession is Akron, Ohio. I think I know a thing or two about this real estate business, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking for a mentor, go to reiinnercircle.com and fill out an application. I've been talking about Akron for the last 6 months. Just from my research. Just now it's in black and white. I know business when it comes to this real estate. I've been in it 20 years. Wealth principle you can take from this podcast is follow the big money. If you all follow me on social media, you know I love basketball. And the best player in the world right now, that's playing the game is LeBron James, who happens to be from Akron, Ohio, who also happens to be developing, and it doesn't get enough publicity, but somebody's listening, somebody's watching. He is developing that city, that small city in Ohio. And now they're number one, ranked by Business Insider to weather the storm. So what does that mean to me? Number one, I'm going to do a little more research. Number two, it tells me that there must be a strong rental market there, because when you weather any storm financially, it's because you have a strong cash flow. And looking at the numbers that I've been seeing over the last 12 months, because my eyes have been on Akron for a while, the home prices are very low. So if the home prices are low and rents are competitive with other markets, that means you can, if you buy right, you can cash flow. And when you cash flow, you weather storms. When you don't have to worry about clocking in to make a dollar or to get it to earn income each month, you don't have to worry about getting out of the bed, and that money's coming in month after month, and your bills are going to get paid. But the other beautiful thing is that when you come out of recessions, and it could be 2012 is when my marketplace turned around, there's going to be appreciation taking place. So those properties that are selling for $15,000 in Akron right now, they're going to be worth more than $15,000 5, 10 years from now. That's just how I see it. That's, if you look, what are properties appreciating for in Akron right now? Last year alone, 7.9%. Y'all do the math. Y'all do the math. 10 years from now, if it still appreciates at 7.9%, that's roughly 8% over the next 10 years. What's that property going to be worth? As is or fixed up? So I'm going to send the link out. And I'm not speculating. I'm just going off of numbers. That's the link. I just sent it to everybody. But again, I look for opportunities. You all can do this business anywhere in the United States, literally right now. I sent out a text earlier this week. You all saw it. I didn't get a lot of response from it though. I don't know if y'all thought it was like fake or something. But I took a screenshot. I'm gonna pull it up. Let's see here. Where's that text at? Nope, that's not it. Hold on one second, folks. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. I sent you a screenshot of my text that I received. And some of my students are getting texts like this. Look at this. The house needs a total rehab. Total rehab. I said, okay, cool. I want the house. Okay. I need 5K. You can give me 5K and you can have it. I say, okay, I just need to look up the taxes on the property. It's a house in the United States for $5,000 in one of the most sought after markets in the country. There's opportunity out here. You just have to take action. Folks, we're going to be opening up enrollment in the Freedom and Wealth Seekers Academy very, very soon. Also, we've been getting your applications for one-on-one coaching. You will receive an email from Lauren in the order your application was received. We have hundreds of applications that we are reviewing. You will receive text messages in regards to setting up calls with me one-on-one in regards to one-on-one coaching. Folks, stay plugged in. You see, I rolled up the sleeves tonight. Okay, and really went in. 2 of you, maybe 3 of you, I talked about the leads that you sent me. I apologize for everybody else that I wasn't able to get to, but I got a lot of texts here from you all in response to the text that I've been sending out today. But I am going to still be reviewing the pictures you sent. As for me, today was very eventful. I'm starting to move into the home building side of the business, residential home building side. So I'm looking for lots in my marketplace right now. I went out to meet with a home builder today with my 4-year-old and a 13-year-old family member, exposing them to my new venture. So I'm looking for lots in the counties in Maryland and the city, preferably off market. We got to get these lots cheap to do what we're going to do with these properties, with these new builds, not properties. And I also want to look at another potential rehab by I'm getting a text right now. Y'all think it's a game. We live in the streets right now, folks. We are live in the streets. I went and met out with he just sent me this text, literally, like, y'all, Look at this. He just sent, it's 8:59. He just sent me this text just now. I met with this guy. He's wholesaling a property. I met him, and he had his realtor with him and two clients from New York City. And the house is right behind us here. And I'm putting in an offer. He was asking 155. I offered 80. I showed him why I'm offering 80. And that's what it's got to be for me to make money. Okay. I don't know what the investors from New York offered him, but our contractors are meeting. The contractors for the New York investors and my contractors are going to go later this week and get estimates. So I'm excited about that. But that's my 13-year-old cousin on the far left in the orange shirt. That kid's 13, and the guy in the middle, he is 21 or 23. He's wholesaling properties in my market. So hopefully I can get this deal. It's an historic neighborhood. Hopefully I can get this deal. But that's what I've been doing today. I've been out in the trench. You see, I ain't even changed my shirt, folks. I ain't even changed my shirt. Okay. Out in that heat today, making it happen. So, folks, quick update. We lost the 6 and under championship game. My son's team. It was a hard-fought game. Shout out to Tyler Ball. I was 300 people in attendance for this event. 300 people for the championship game for a 6 and under team. The environment that these two gentlemen and their mom created is just phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it in my years here on earth and involved in sports. They have created something very unique in the Washington, D.C., Prince George's County marketplace for families, not just in the DMV to take advantage of. It's people from all over the country coming to see Tyler Ball. People from New York. It was 300 people. Okay, I played basketball for one of the most sought after teams on the East Coast. And I only remember one tournament where it was 300 people. And this was high school, right? So the game has changed. Everything evolves over time. The game, sports is evolving. Business is evolving. Look at this. I got a 13-year-old interested in real estate. There's a 21-year-old wholesaling me a property. I didn't wholesale my first deal until I was like 24 years old, 25. The kids are getting involved. We got to get up early, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I ain't going to preach to you tonight. I'm going to see you at the closing table because y'all going to keep taking action, and we're going to continue to grow this Freedom and Wealth Seekers community. We're going to continue to grow the Freedom and Wealth Seekers community, continue to share the YouTube video. Some of y'all asked me for permission to share the YouTube. Yes, we need you to share the YouTube. We need you to subscribe. We need you to hit that bell, right? We need you. All right. I'm going to deliver the goods every Wednesday night. My guests are going to deliver the goods, but we need y'all to share this movement, just like Harriet and Frederick Douglass did. They shared it. And a lot of us wouldn't be right here if it wasn't for those two people. And William Still, who is who's gotten credit for creating the Underground Railroad. I want y'all to understand, like, we're on sacred ground, hallowed ground. William Still, and I'm hoping that my memory serves me correctly, that's his name, is from the Eastern Shore of Maryland. So you got Frederick Douglass from Maryland, Harriet Tubman from Maryland, William Still from Maryland, who created the Underground Railroad, and those were two of the conductors. I'm from Maryland too. Folks, everything happens for a reason. I'm gonna let y'all go with that one. I know this was a different type of call tonight, different type of podcast, folks. But I know we're gonna create more freedom and more wealth together, folks. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.